Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Cooper Newman coming at you with another video. I'm switching the format up a little bit. This is a sneaker channel, first and foremost a sneaker channel. But I just wanted to talk about music for a second, just because my favorite artist of all time recently dropped a CD. I've had a couple of weeks or a week and a half or so to digest it. I just wanted to give my thoughts and kind of give a review of the new Jay-Z album, 444. First and foremost, like I said, Jay-Z, my favorite artist of all time. Undisputedly the greatest rapper of all time, because he was the premier talent in hip-hop, and then he was also the most popular. And it's not often that you get that combination of being the most talented and then also the most popular. He has, whoever you are, if you're a Jay-Z detractor, you're hard-pressed to find somebody who doesn't think he's a good rapper. You may not like him, you may not like his music, but it's hard to find somebody who says he's not a talented rapper. Like I said, Drake is comparable in that I think you can say that because he's a lot of talent and he's the most popular, but I think you'll find a lot of people who will say things about Drake's rapping, even though it's the most popular. They would go as far as to say he's not a good rapper. I think you can find those people. It's hard pressed to find those people who would say that about Jay-Z. And then also Drake has the whole ghostwriting thing. So, and like I said, if as MCs, there's the code, and he kind of broke the code. Now, I don't want to go off on a tangent in that direction, but regardless, I just want to kind of review the album and just give you my thoughts. So first and foremost, I'll just tell you what I think. It's a good album. I like the album. 10 tracks long. It's a good album. And I say this because I hated Magna Carta, Holy Grail so much. Like I said, Jay-Z's my favorite rapper. Magna Carta, Holy Grail was garbage. It was a garbage album. I don't know where it went wrong. Well, first and foremost, the lyricism wasn't there. That's what I say. The lyricism definitely wasn't there. Production was fine. I was fine with the production. Lyricism was not there. It was too simple. It wasn't up to the standard that he set before for himself, with his previous albums. And so the only redeemable track on Magna Carta Holy Grail for me was the Somewhere in America track. That was a great track. That would have been great on any Jay-Z album. But as far as that's by far his worst album, worse than Kingdom Come, worse than anything, without a doubt, for me. Alright, so let's just get into it. So on this track, this album, first song, Kill Jay-Z. When this started up, well, actually the first time over, I didn't like this. I still don't really like the song Kill Jay-Z. The lyricism is too simple, and that's what I'm about. I'm about lyricism. I'm like multi-syllabic rhyme schemes, complex stuff that regular rappers can't do. So it's a simple track. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you this. It's a garbage song or anything. It's just it didn't do anything for me. When I listened to the album the first time, I heard it and I was like, ugh. No, and I didn't think it was going to be anything good, so I didn't like that first track. Second song, The Story of O.J. Simpson. It's a really strong track. It's really strong. Whenever it came on the first time I listened to it, I'm like, okay, we're picking up. It may not be a terrible album, right? It's good. It's kind of the most salient track that kind of demonstrates the whole direction of this album, the whole purpose of this album. So this album overall, I think of it, it's really a conscious record. In my opinion, Jay-Z took a turn and became a conscious rapper on this album. The crux of it is the empowerment, the financial empowerment of black people as a whole, and he's just kind of giving examples and giving advice and dropping a lot of knowledge, which somebody who's this deep into the game, that's what he should be doing at this point. We all know how much money he has, we know how successful he's been, we know what his past illicit dealings are, so there's no need for him to really focus on that as much. And now he's kind of that old head, quote unquote old head, and dropping knowledge that'll help empower the next generation. So that's one thing I do like about this, is the message of the album. So I'm going to accidentally play the track. So that's one of the best things. So overall, I was just happy with this album. I was happy with the direction he went in artistically. To me, overall, the lyricism, it isn't great. It isn't up to par for like the old Jay-Z. To me, Jay-Z from Reasonable Doubt up until Black Album was just lyrically was a monster. Was damn near flawless in my opinion. Black Album was the crescendo, and then he took a little hiatus, then came back with Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come had a lot of good tracks. I think it had some good tracks, a lot of good lyricism, especially the title track Kingdom Come was really good lyrically, and it overall wasn't a great album, but at least you got those lyrical moments that you really wanted to see. So I'll just, and I'm gonna be, I guess, going back and forth between this album and just Jay-Z's, his his catalog, I guess. All right. Third track, Smile. Smile is my favorite track on this song. It's by far lyrically Best track on the album by far. This is a song where he delves into like his mother's sexuality and talks about how she was a lesbian. The first time I heard it through, I didn't catch that part. I knew he was talking. I didn't know he was talking about his mother specifically. I didn't know it was that personal of a record the first time I listened to it. But as far as this one, lyrically the best, because on the third verse he just demolishes that. That sounds like vintage Jay-Z. That sounds like 18-year-old Jay-Z rhyming on the corner. You know what? That Smile track, the third verse, it's great. I don't hear enough people praising this. I've watched a lot of reviews about this album. I don't hear enough people talking about the track Smile because by far it's the best song lyrically. I guess people don't care about lyrics as much as I do. I hear a lot of people praising this album because he gets so personal in it. I could care less about personal stories. You know what I'm saying? I just want to hear bars, really. I want to hear bars. I don't care so much what a person raps about. I just care that they're rapping well, that they're executing what they attempted to do well. That's what the focus of my evaluation always is. Like I said, people have been criticizing Jay-Z for a long time about that, about his subject matter, that it's too materialistic. I don't care about subject matter. I just care that it's good. If you're doing it, just be nice. And you could talk about like Eminem talking about killing his mom or his baby's mom or whatever, and people don't really criticize that subject matter. I'm like, you can't relate to that. Rarely anybody can relate to that, but you don't criticize the subject matter because it's something different. Like I said, but they can criticize Jay-Z because so many people talk about this braggadocious rap. I don't care because I feel like that's the basis of hip-hop. It started with being braggadocious. You're always rapping about how you're better than somebody else, even if it's just lyrically better than somebody else. And that you can go back to Rapper's Delight. They're like, stealing Superman's. I steal Lois Lane from Superman. This is a central tenet of hip-hop. I think it's just it's inseparable from hip-hop. Is the braggadocio, But anyways, fourth track, Caught Their Eyes with Frank Ocean. I think that one is the one that has a little bit of Caribbean rhythm to it or something. The first time I heard it, I didn't know that was Frank Ocean. I really thought it was a Jamaican, somebody with that accent speaking. But then, and that Caught Their Eyes, it's the one who delves and talks about Prince. So it's a good song, you know what I'm saying? I like it. It's pretty good. And like I said, I have a favorable review of the album. I don't love a lot of these tracks. I really don't. Caught Their Eyes was a good track. Not lyrically, but at least the message. He talked about how Prince's estate is being mismanaged by whoever's in charge of that. 444 was the track where he goes in really deep about him and Beyonce and their relationship. So I'm sure that's the track that females are so interested in. I could care less about gossip and tabloid stuff right there. So 444 didn't do that much for me. I don't know even if they had a hook on that. Family Feud was good. It was one of the better tracks on this album. Family Feud, and that's with Beyonce, the vocals on it also, and like nobody wins on the Family Feud. So one of the better tracks. Bam, one of the better tracks. Bam is probably my third favorite track on here. That's the one featuring Damian Marley, Caribbean rhythm also on that. And then it's just, he has the line was like, F all that pretty boy Sean Carter stuff, it's so, fuck all that pretty boy Sean Carter shit, it's so, that just hits so hard, and it brings you, it's just nostalgic, it brings you back to the old Jay-Z, and that's why I love the old Jay-Z. Moonlight, a good message as far as he uses the metaphor of the recent Academy Awards, where I guess the movie Moonlight, it won Best Picture, but whenever they announced it, they said La La Land won Best Picture. So even when you win, you still lose. So it's a pretty clever metaphor. I don't love the track. It's really one of the more lackluster tracks on the album, I think. But I like the message, and it just further takes further the purpose of the album. The intent of the album is to empower black people, and this is really, I guess he's kind of speaking to the newer generation of hip-hop artists on this Moonlight track specifically. Marcy Me, second best song on the album to me. Marcy Me it's a great song. My favorite line off of there is like, shoot my Uzi vertical. What was it? Okay. Shoot my Uzi vertical, let that thing smoke. Y'all flirting with death, I'll be winking through the scope. Great line. That may be the best line on the whole album. Like I said, it's great. To me, it's not consistent lyrically all the way through, but at least you get your peaks and you get that vintage Jay, where he's just best rapper alive. Jay. Legacy is a really good song to close out the album. So I have a favorable impression of Legacy. So in this order, my favorite songs: Smile, Marcy Me, Bam. And those are the three standout tracks to me. Everything else is a step below that. The only runs I don't like I said, I don't like are Moonlight and the intro track Kill Jay-Z. It still doesn't do anything for me. But overall, it's the brevity of the album. I don't have an issue with that. I guess it's just Jay-Z used to release an album every single year, no fail, 15 tracks, even some bonus tracks or something, and just great lyricism all throughout. This one is 10 tracks. It's been 4 years since he released the album. Where are the bars at, Jigga Man? Where are the bars at? That's all I want to know. But like I said, it's a good. I'm happy with the track. Overall, I'm happy just because I'm such a Jay-Z fan. And I was so disappointed with Magna Carta Holy Grail. It's a good thing that he was able to bounce back and just show that he has something in there. And even for me, just the song Smile, just to have that moment where I get that same feeling of this lyrical beast, Jay-Z on that third verse, that does enough for me. And and my favorite thing is just the direction of the album. It's such a positive, important, timely message right now. So I'm really happy for this. Because after Magna Carta Holy Grail, I was like, I don't want this again, because there was such anticipation for it. It was the big Samsung marketing thing going on, and then it came out and it was just a dud. It was such a dud. Jay-Z's worst album by far, worse than. And at the end of this video, I'll just rank my Jay-Z albums. So okay, so overall, I'll give this album, I will give it a B plus if I'm grading it on letter grades, because that's how I like to do a B plus. Concepts are very, very strong. I like that. And just consistent throughout. It's a cohesive, as far as subject matter, very cohesive. Production, I have no issue with any of the production on here. I think No ID handled the production for the entire album. I have no issue at all. I think Bam was my favorite beat on here. And like I said, those 3 standout tracks, Smile, Bam, and Marcy Me, and that's enough for me to give it to like it. So thank you, Jay-Z, for putting out another album that we can add to the catalog and just be one of the standard ones. So now I'm just going to kind of rank my favorite Jay-Z albums. Without a doubt, Reasonable Doubt is number 1. Number 2, Blueprint. And the next ones are kind of interchangeable. To me, either Black Album or American Gangster are interchangeable to me. I'll go with Black Album as the third, just because it has my favorite Jay-Z song of all time, which is Lucifer. If you're not familiar with Lucifer, lyrically, my favorite Jay-Z, just the concept of it. And if you listen to the song, it's really, the whole song is like a prayer. He's talking to God during the whole song. It's called Lucifer, but it's like Lucifer, son of the morning, which is the devil's, what they call the devil in the Old Testament. I'm going to chase you out of there. So just Black Album, just because it has my favorite song. Then American Gangster. After that, you could, I'll say Streets is Watching after that. That's not called Streets is Watching, I'm sorry. The song Streets is Watching is on the album. Give me 1 second, people, and I'll show you. Streets is Watching. I'm sorry. Well, you know what I'm talking about. The album that has Streets is Watching on there. In My Lifetime, excuse me. In My Lifetime, Volume 1. So Volume 1. Then after that, I'll give it to Blueprint 3. Just because Blueprint 3, even though it wasn't that strong lyrically, I could hear the effort. I could hear that he took a lot of time crafting those songs. So, and then regardless, I don't want to rank the rest, it's whatever. But anyways, thank you for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't anticipate doing many music reviews, but this is just because it's a big deal for me for Jay-Z to drop another album, so I just thought I'd share my thoughts. But thank you for checking me out. Check out the Deuce. Peace out, y'all.